For the longest time, I secretly wanted more. I often found myself shrinking to fit in, settling for what was comfortable, and even selling myself short. Once I finally accepted that we deserve success and we are blessed with the power to achieve it, I stopped playing small. I'm serious about building a life I love, and you should be too. I'm Denise Taylor of DeniseTaylor.live, and welcome to Life, Love, and the Pursuit of Happiness. I help women prioritize themselves, their success, and their happiness. Let's meet this week's achiever whose story will inspire you to push past your fears and soar. Well, once again, we are here for Life, Love, and the Pursuit of Happiness, and we are continuing in our season of thankfulness. And today, I am so excited to bring to the table a story that will encourage you. In this season of thankfulness, we are finding the testimonies that are rich with overcoming power that is found in the grace of God. Today, we are going to be talking with Roberta Axson. She was a teen mom and she was a child of a teen mom. Yet even in that experience, she found gratitude, she found thankfulness. I want you to listen to her overcoming story. I want you to hear how she saw herself successful. Success superpower number one, despite what was going on. She was able to embrace her power. She was able to rise to the occasion, and she was able to make a tremendous mark in success that we celebrate on the podcast today. And so as you listen, I want you to hear for how she saw herself successful. And I also want you to hear her heart of thankfulness. Well, I am so excited. You see that Kool-Aid smile right there. I have the official cheerleader, if there ever was one, joining me today. Roberta Axson is here. She is here to express her thankfulness, and we are going to get all into it. Now, she has a mission that is near and dear to her heart to support teen moms to beyond. That is the group that she has formed, and that is the place where she serves. Now, as a mission, Teen Moms to Beyond serves former teen moms and women born to teen moms. And she is really driving energy to make sure that they no longer feel complacent or unproductive in life. Now, her own story and testimony is what ignites her passion, but all of that aside, let me just tell you this. This woman right here is Black Girl Magic, the epitome of it. She was just recognized as the 2021-2022 Coca-Cola Teacher of the Year. She hails from Stockbridge, Georgia, and I personally am so excited, so proud of everything that you have accomplished. I love the exclamation point that you put on Black Girl Magic, and I just want to celebrate you. Now, you said you didn't know if you could introduce yourself, so I did a little bit for you, but I want to welcome you to Life, Love, and the Pursuit of Happiness, my beautiful sister.
And I am so excited. You're going to make me pull these pom-poms out today. I thought I was going to leave them over there. And I am so happy to be here with you, my beautiful sister.
Absolutely.
Whoa, that was such a phenomenal introduction. And you've been all up in my business.
I am so proud of you. I really, really am. Those awards don't come lightly. They are high achievement recognitions. And for you to have attained that, I mean, we are on the heels of the celebration in the moment that we sit in. I just wanted to honor you and celebrate you for how you have indeed accomplished a significant mark in your life. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Woo.
Okay, now with all that aside, introduce yourself to the listeners.
Well, I am Roberta Axson, and as you stated, my heart is to serve those in the community where they are former teen mothers as well as women who are born to a teen mom, because sometimes we just don't have all of the tools that we need. And there's a little bit more of support that sometimes you don't even know is available. So I want to serve those women who are available and just need that extra support to get them where they need to be in life so that they may turn around and serve others.
Absolutely. Now, we are in the midst of our thankfulness series. It is the thankfulness season after all. And when I put it out there that I wanted to connect with women who had a heart of thankfulness, you raised your hand. So tell me, what are you thankful for?
Denise, you know what? I am so thankful to be a mother. Of course, had my first son at the age of 15. And I just know that if I had not become a mother at the time that I did become a mother, my life would be so different now. So I am just so thankful for all of the trials, all of the tests that have taught me how to be resilient, that have taught me how to remain humble, how to remain focused, and never, ever, ever giving up. Because again, having that child there to be my first cheerleader. My son told me that I was his hero when I was younger. We were both younger, and that never left me. So I'm just so thankful that God entrusted me to be a vessel to bring into the earth young men who could be a part of my legacy and also be a part of changing the generation. So that is what I am most thankful for.
Oh, that is so beautiful. Team boy mom, right?
Yes, team boy mom.
So let's unpack your story, right? Tell me about Roberta as a little girl.
Ooh, let me tell you. Well, first of all, I love to talk. My mouth was always open with something to say. I think I was always smiling after I learned the importance of a smile. I had a teacher that told me that I was going to have a lot of frowns because I was frowning a lot, as a little girl first, until Miss Edwina Clayton, my 7th grade English teacher, told me. She said, when you get old, you're going to have as many frowns as I have in my face. And she told me, she said, you are too pretty not to smile. And when I tell you, from that point on, I didn't want to go around looking like I was sucking on lemons anymore, because I began even learning how to be grateful for the little things. And so being a child, didn't have the environment that I dreamed of or wished for. But again, looking back now, it's like I had everything that I needed.
Okay, that's good. And what did you dream about? What were your dreams when you were a little girl?
When I was a little girl, I really wanted to become a singer and an actress. That was like my first love. I mean, I was writing stories, poetry, singing. I was singing with my family. We were a part of a gospel group when I was a little girl. Started at the age of 5. And I just, we get the hairbrush and the mirror, and I just wanted to sing. I just wanted to sing in my joy. I wanted to sing. I just saw myself on stages and just acting. I wanted to move to New York or California to be on Broadway or to be out in California. So that was like my first dream of becoming anything other than just myself.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's really good. So as a kid, I can remember now, I don't have the vocals to sing. I can back you up a little something long as there's some other people harmonizing with me.
I'm a backup now, honey. I'm so happy to be the backup. And also modeling too, Denise. I thought, I want to be on somebody's runway as well. So I got to add that in there. I want to be a model.
Okay. All right. That's cool. I remember as a kid, I don't know if you did this, but this might be a sign that I just was home by myself a lot. But I would stand at the base of the stairs, right? And I would put on Walter Hawkins' Love Alive. I would be directing the choir like it was a full-blown choir on the stairs. I was at the base of it and I would just be going to town. So I do understand how the heart of music music can ignite so much joy in you as a little kid. It can make you feel really, really excited. And if you had that gift with your family, I would imagine that kept you guys close together.
But it was also a trying time because actually I got a chance to sing with my family for about 6 years because they were all killed in an accident coming back from a program. So I literally shut down from the age of 10 probably till about 22 when I met my husband. And so I hadn't sang in all those years. It just kind of silenced my voice because I would get a lot of joy from us singing together, but they were killed when I was 10 years old in an accident coming back from a singing program. And so I was so sad for a long time and I wouldn't sing.
Oh my God. That is so tragic. I am so sorry. But you know what? God has really restored your joy because you are probably the most upbeat, inspirational, motivational person I know at 5 a.m. who wakes up bringing the joy to you, pom-poms and all.
Yes, ma'am.
To hear that as a journey that you took, it's hard to believe, but it lets me know about the restored power of God's love. It lets me know at the core, he could change and he could manifest so much beauty out of those ashes that you experience with the loss of your family.
Yes, and exactly what you said, definitely. He is the joy and the strength of my joy. And I had to realize that after just continuing to press forward because it was a void for a long time. I did not want to sing. But then when I found myself back with my voice, I didn't want to give it up anymore. You know, just singing at the house or writing, just being able to express those musical notes that had been suppressed for so many years. So yes, he is definitely a God of restoration.
So now you mentioned becoming a teen mom at 15. Do you feel like any of that was a factor in where you found yourself potentially becoming sexually active and, really making those types of choices and decisions? Do you find that that's a factor in what your experience was at all?
Oh, absolutely. And again, those voids to where we're wanting to feel wanted, desired, loved, appreciated, valued, and just worth, and didn't know how to give it to myself. I did not know. So reaching out, to someone at the same, they don't know their own value or worth. And so just making those decisions where you don't know each other, you don't love each other, and just in the heat of the moment, making choices, and then you have the result of a child. And it's like, I just did not want my child, because again, let me back up the story. I am a product. My mom had me at 16. So there was no love, no relationship, there was violation. And so a decision was made to carry and bring forth this child, but it was in a lot of trauma, a lot of abandonment, rejection. And so just trying to figure it out and navigate for herself. And now she has baggage because you have something that you are having to carry, and it's a weight, sometimes it's a burden. And so being able to really, again, going back to the God of restoration, to why we are all here, there is purpose and greatness for why we're all here, and being able to reach and make that decision for myself and my son, to where I am going to be better because I had you. You will not be a burden to me, even though I felt that way at times from my mom, because that was her story. She didn't have the support. She didn't have the love and the nurturing that she needed. I mean, I didn't have it either because she didn't receive it. She wasn't able to give it. But I just wanted to be different, because I think sometimes we make that excuse, well, I didn't have it, so I don't know how to give it. Well, there are a lot of resources out there. There are people that you can connect to and learn from. And so I was just avid about being able to find what I needed so I could be the best for my son as well as for myself. And so the journey was a day by day, moment by moment. There were highs and lows, but again, I decided to press. I decided to want more. And so that's what I guess I always look back and say that I'm most grateful for, because I didn't quit and I had him to encourage me to keep going.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful that you were able to see that experience in a different way than what you saw it be experienced with your mom. And that also explains why your mission is what it is, right? Being the child of a teen mom and then subsequently becoming a teen mom, you have a perspective of understanding so many different dynamics as it relates to all of that and what that entire experience looks like. Now, when you found out you were pregnant, how was that discussion handled with your family, and how was it handled regarding what choices they felt like you should make? Like, walk us through, I'm telling my family I'm pregnant.
Well, honey, it was nothing like that. I wanted the doctor to tell them that I was pregnant. So, and really, it goes back to ignorance for me, being a young person, not really understanding what my body does for me, and I think even as adults, sometimes we don't understand the beauty of our bodies and the systems and the way they function and perform for us. And so for me, my mom taking me to the doctor because you're missing something every month. Mm-hmm. And so, and she's one that is mainly focused on that, where, hey, something is going on. So of course, going to the doctor and then having the doctor to say that, she's 4.5 months pregnant. I mean, literally gone through the first trimester and didn't have any prenatal care, and having to sit inside of the room and say, I didn't do anything. And I mean, it's like it was yesterday, to where just sitting there numb and shocked, but then denying it, like I didn't do anything. And so I still remember him saying, you didn't do anything recently, but you did something a while back. So, and I'm just like, and so, but I was horrified, because it's like, what does this really mean? Because again, making decisions that you really don't understand the consequences to, and being a 15-year, recently turning 15, because my birthday was in that March and that doctor's appointment was in April. And so I had my son in August, no problems, going to the doctor for the first time in April and having him in August.
Wow.
So the grace, when people talk about the grace of God, and then of course my second son, when I had him, I knew immediately when I was pregnant, because I was a nurse at the time then, but then on bed rest, like I started at, early on prenatal care, but still ended up, majority of the pregnancy on bed rest. Whereas the firstborn didn't have any prenatal care. The first trimester came out, no issues, none. So
God is good. He
grace,
really is good. He was able to keep your son in that situation, and really carry you guys through to get to this day. And that is a beautiful testimony of his faithfulness and how good he is. So tell me about becoming a mom, right? So we got like 5 months to figure this thing out. If that, it might have been 4. He's coming and you are about to be a mom.
There was so much fear and rejection there for me. So much fear as to failure. How am I going to be successful with this child that I did not want? I did not, it's like, what did I do? What is this? So just really, of course, my mom, the story probably seems so, similar and familiar for her, because again, she probably was looking at herself as a failure. I don't remember a lot of our conversations, because I think she kind of shut down a little, because she was angry, a little upset with me, of course, and rightfully so, because again, the communication wasn't there. Because sometimes, of course, I've learned how to be a better communicator because of some things that I did not have as a child, for my children. But it was hard, Denise. I mean, I can't sit here and pretend that it wasn't. I didn't know. I mean, I knew I was going to be successful, but I just didn't see the roadmap. I knew that I was not going to listen to naysayers and the statistics because I knew they were not God. Like, you can't dictate my success. I said, I know it's going to be harder, but I have to do this because I have to do this for him. I wanted my son to win and for us to win and for him not to feel guilty about anything that I wasn't able to achieve because I had him. Because my mom would say that sometimes to me, I had to, quit school because I had you. I had to go to work because I had you. And so that was like a broken record playing. And I did not want to play that song for my son. I wanted him to, just see me striving because of him, seeing that I could graduate from high school. I wasn't the top of my class, but I graduated from high school, to see that I could go to nursing school and become a licensed practical nurse because I had him, to see that my ultimate goal was to become a registered nurse because I had him. And so becoming a registered nurse. And then when God allowed me to grace the classroom to teach, he was like the biggest cheerleader. And he was supporting me the whole way. Like, Mom, you've always been a teacher. You taught me a lot. And that just blessed me so, because this child looked at me, and like I told him, I feel like you've been with me all of my life, because we're 15 years apart. So it's like I didn't have time to be a teenager. I was a teen mom.
Wow. And here you sit today as the teacher of the year, right? I mean, think about that and really take that in, because a lot of times, to your point, there are these offhanded comments that are made to people who find themselves in situations or having to deal with circumstances. And we have a tendency to have this cancel culture, this dismissive perspective, instead of seeing the potential, instead of seeing the power, instead of seeing the opportunity. And I love how you have risen up and really changed the narrative and are able to talk about what you have been able to accomplish, not despite, because we don't despite him, what you have been able to accomplish with him, with your son, right? And so that is a mark that shows cream always rise to the top, my dear. And I really, really am just really honored to know your story, to share your story, and for you to have a heart of thankfulness around it, because it could go many ways. People could be successful with a chip on their shoulders. People could be successful and arrogant. People could be successful and really not understand a perspective of gratitude with that. People can be successful and bitter about what it was they had to go through to accomplish what they've done. But for you to be able to rise and have such a heart to inspire and serve just really speaks to the power of God and how he's been able to turn things around for you. And so that's beautiful, my friend. That is beautiful.
And Denise, let me share, where my gratitude came. It came early. It came in a few different ways that I remember as a child. I'm grateful that my mom had me, because she had such a hard pregnancy. My granddad was very mean to her. And so I'm so grateful that she shared her body with me. So I began to start looking at her and appreciating her and valuing her, even though I was angry with her for so long. But God just began to show me that gratitude of loving her where she is and the things that she's gone through, because she's never been honored. I get a lot of honor. I'm so grateful, but I think it's because I made that decision. I began to be grateful because I was able to have a child. Yes, it was at 14 getting pregnant, and having a son at 15, but somebody's still praying for a child.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me not to be upset and angry because I had him and bitter at my life and, woulda, coulda, shoulda. And then the third thing really was when my cousins were killed because they were teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were 13, 14, 15, and two of them were 16 when they were killed. And I began to thank God. And this is when I was like in elementary, when my gratitude really came into my heart with them first. That was the first piece that I just kind of embraced. That I said, God, because it could have been us. We were the last ones in the family to see them the night that they were killed, literally. And we would have gone with them because my mom had to work the next day. And normally, we would go on the programs with them. And so I just remember just taking a pause to say, God, I just thank you that we were not with them. And I'm still here 40 something years later. I'm still here. And so I know that there's so much more greatness and purpose that I have to do. So we can't get more until we're grateful for the little. Mm-hmm. And so even though it's big for me, but it's still little because it's still so much more to be grateful for. Mm-hmm. So those are the three major things that stay before me in my gratitude for life.
Wow, that's beautiful. Grateful for the little. That is beautiful. Now, it's something for our experiences to spur us on personally, but your experience spurred you on to mission. It spurred you on to figure out how you could help, how you could give back, how you could take those who are experiencing similar circumstances and be a light to them. Tell me, what is the biggest misconception of teen moms?
I think the biggest misconception about them is that they don't want the help. They don't want help. They don't want anyone to help them. I really think they just don't know how to receive it. They don't know where it is. They don't know. I know sometimes pride and shame can hinder us, but they really, it's kind of like me. I don't have a problem asking for help, and I think I had to learn that early because I realized, especially in healthcare, we're about a team. That's engraved in us. It's team oriented. And so sometimes when you become a mother at an early age, you just kind of feel like you're alone. Like no one can really understand, even though they've gone through similar situation, but they haven't gone through your situation. Mm-hmm. So I think really that is the biggest misconception, that they really don't want anybody to help them.
So from that, what would you say teen moms need most?
I really think they need unconditional love. And when I say that, that's not the standard I provide for you. I give you shelter. I give you the things. It's the emotional, it's the spiritual, it's mental, it's social, it's the whole being of a person. So that unconditional, to where you're going to love me no matter what. And so I think that we all can learn and grow in our love walk. Mm-hmm. There's always areas and room for improvement. Mm-hmm. And so, that's some conversations that I've had with my sons in the past. Like, how can I be a better mother? What things that, you really don't like about me? What things do you really like about me? Mm-hmm. And so sometimes we don't have those conversations because we don't want to know the responses. Mm-hmm. But that's the way we can grow in being able to love, give unconditional love as well as receive unconditional love.
That's beautiful. And that really is a lesson for all of us. But when you are faced with the situation of, learning a very life-changing circumstance, you're pregnant, you're a young age, there's a lot of condescending behaviors and comments that come into play. And you're right. It really is love that's needed in that moment. As the Bible tells us, love covers a multitude of sins, right? And at that moment, there's enough personal attacks that person is potentially making to themselves that they don't need nobody else to come and add no additional, targets or additional arrows coming at them, because there's enough that they're probably already feeling within themselves with the circumstances that are happening.
Absolutely. And then you're carrying precious cargo. Mm-hmm. You're carrying life. And so everything that's around you and within you, you're transferring. And so we have to remember that, because again, babies come in and they, in situations where there's trauma, where there's fear, where there isn't love, they can feel that. Mm-hmm. And I've had to learn how to love, because I didn't come into a world where I was loved, an environment where I was wanted and loved. There's a big difference when a baby is born and that room is filled with love versus a baby where the room is cold and stilled. And so, having that experience, being born in that, and then having my first son in that as well, that's a lonely, isolated place. And so being able to learn how to navigate through those scars and healing, so that you can not transfer that on to someone else, because then they have their own as well as what you imparted.
That's really good. So again, we're in this thankfulness season, and now that you're years beyond, that 15-year-old who has discovered that she has walked into motherhood, which is a big old title, what would you want your family and your son to know from your heart regarding what you feel in this thankfulness season?
I am so thankful for us being able to be a part of each other's lives. Again, it's God ordained. It is that I was chosen, to be my son's mothers, and they were chosen to be my sons. And I thank God so many times a day, for the things that I get to do to represent him, because in everything that I do, I represent him, as a woman, as a mother, as a wife, as a sister, as a friend. So all of those relationships, intertwine with the love that is unconditional, that is, that I'm able to give as well as to receive. So, and I tell them often, I share text messages and I'll do random, they always tell me, Mom, you're so random, but I just do. I take those moments, just to say, I love you. And I'm so grateful that you are my son. I'm so proud of you. That is like, you look for birthdays, you look for certain times of the year, Thanksgiving, but that is like my favorite holiday, but it's like, I live it every day. I give thanks every day, to people around me, even my students. They are, they can attest that they know that they are loved and appreciated for the space that we share, for the season that we're in.
That's beautiful. And that's why you are the teacher of the year. All right. So around these parts, I really encourage people to build a life that they love without apology. I even go further to say that God has not given us a spirit of fear, but he has given us power. And with that power, we can be, do, have, and achieve anything that we want in life.
Must believe it.
Yes.
We must believe it, though.
Yes. I also believe that we can take time to reflect and learn and share wisdom. And that's how I like to close out each episode, is tapping a little bit into your wisdom. So here we go. What's your life wisdom? What would you tell your younger self about life if you could?
There's so much abundance in you, and I want you to continue to seek for it. Chase it, because there's so much abundance, so many treasures that you have not found yet. Wow. And I want you to search it out and seek it out and find it, because you're worth it.
That's really, really good. Love wisdom. What would you tell your younger self about love if you could?
Okay, with love, I'm going to go back to the unconditional. Learn how. I want you to take the time. I would tell my younger self, I want you to take the time to love you, learn how to love yourself unconditional, because you're worth it, because you are worth the love.
Don't we really attack ourselves sometimes?
Yes, a lot.
Yeah, yeah, we do. We often, our biggest naysayer is what's going on in our own minds. That is for sure.
And you're looking for agreement. You're looking for the agreement in the amen corner. Once you've established it in your mind, you're right.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. And then finally, what's your happiness wisdom? What would you tell your younger self about happiness if you could?
With the happiness wisdom, I would remind my younger self that happiness is about the circumstance. It's about the moment. Joy is about a lifetime. So I would want my younger self to know the difference between happiness and joy. So happiness is just for the moment, but joy is for the lifetime. And I would want her to chase the joy that will last, not just for the moment.
And we all know the joy of the Lord is our strength, right? And so with that, I can't celebrate you enough. And I just want to say to you from the bottom of my heart that success looks so good on you. And I thank you for your example. I thank you for your testimony. I thank you for your gratitude and your thankfulness. And I really appreciate you joining me today.
And I really am honored to be here. I so adore you.
Oh, thank you. I can't say enough how proud I am of Roberta and what she's been able to accomplish and what she has been able to overcome. Her testimony is such a victory of seeing yourself successful, which is the very first success superpower that will literally change your life. When you change your mind, you change your circumstances. And as soon as you change your circumstances, your life will change. It all begins with the renewing of your mind. I thank you in this season of thankfulness for being connected to me, to being connected to this podcast, to being connected to our community. That is where we get a chance to partner and grow together. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe, go ahead and do that today. Let me hear from you. Make sure you leave a rating and review. That is the absolute best way for the podcast to reach other listeners who can be encouraged. And I cannot wait to see you next time. Well, that's it, beautiful. Thank you for tuning in. Don't ever forget that you truly deserve life, love, and all the happiness your heart can hold. Be relentless in building a life you love without apology. I'm Denise Taylor, and you can always find me in our free Facebook community. Life, love, in the pursuit of happiness, easy to find. Now, if you want more information about my success superpowers, as I'm sure you do, download my free Success Superpowers ebook at denisetaylor.live/podcast. And one last thing, always embrace your power and go.